Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is another return to sender, pulling toxic energies and emotional projections out of our energy field and smashing any barriers and blockages and walls and anything else that we have in our energy field that is stopping or limiting us severely. And then we're going to step over to strengthening our life force. And of course, like at the end, closing, sealing up our energy field. So I'm going to talk you a little bit through it. So basically for the past week or so, I've been feeling quite tired and drained, and I thought, it was just me burning the candle at both ends, which funny enough I'm going to do here, but that's my return to sender candle, the U-shaped one. So I rested a little more, but I have been given little clues, and I knew I wanted to do a ceremony and didn't get a chance yesterday on my day off, or when I took the day off. So here we are, and I'm going to quickly talk you through it. So one is the U. This was actually something that was a free giveaway at work. And the U right away made me think of, return to sender. Then, let me actually get one more thing to explain it better. Then I got some sunflower oil, and normally when you pull out the top part, the whole entire round thing comes off, right? I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. But this one had what looks like an insect head with a stinger. See, it's like here. So I instantly knew and felt that it had to do with toxic poison, like energetic poison being injected into our energy field again. And then this morning, this fell off the shelf, so I knew I quickly had to seal my energy field. And today my phone battery kept dropping, like the charge kept dropping. And I was using the same charger cable as the other days when it was fine. And right towards the end of the day, the one part of the charger cable actually broke right out. Like it broke off, but it basically like came out, right? And I couldn't put it back in again and make it stay. So luckily I had another cable, because whenever extreme energy drains happen, I usually end up buying a new charger cable, and then I often like keep one or two around for other emergencies like this one. So that's that. Then also today, one of the food boxes or packages had a sticker on for, to seal it, to prove that it hadn't been opened. But this one, the steam from the thermos bag had completely actually made it fall off. This was on the inside of my thermos bag. I just basically put it on top of a piece of plastic that I had, just because I didn't want it to stick to something else. And if you look closely here, it's actually amazing. So first of all, it's the hands that form the heart shape, and then peace of mind. So by moving more into our heart space, we have inner peace, and our mind is also at peace, right? So it's that heart and mind coherence, and having that peace when we're more in our heart space, right? So for that, I actually got this a little while ago. I felt this bottle looked almost like an anatomical heart. You know, that's kind of like long, elongated and roundish. And that's exactly what this bottle is. And beet juice to me always feels like it's the perfect substitution for blood, blood meaning life force, right? So strengthening our life force. And here I was curious about the flavor because they actually had different flavor combinations. This one is with cherry juice, so beet and cherry juice. And actually, if you look closer in the ingredients, they also added some apple juice, I guess, maybe for taste. But anyhow, it's good enough. It's like enough beet juice in there, right, to really give us that boost for our heart space that comes from having more life force, more energy again, right? Replenishing our energy. And for that, I also put the little angel on here with the yellow heart. Yellow for the solar plexus, which is where our power lies. And when we're in our power, we tend to also have more energy and life force, right? Because it doesn't get drained out of us. So it all comes together in this. And sorry, I didn't have a short, quick name for the entire ceremony. Sometimes that actually comes to me as I'm posting it. So I'm sure I'll find a shorter name for it. But here we have the little intro with the explanations. And I think that's, oh yeah. And of course, like the mustard again for pulling all these toxic emotions out. And then I will smash the walnut for breaking any barriers and walls and limitations that we still have that stop us from moving forward, that really limit and restrict us and create a lot of blockages. And yeah, the energy doesn't flow, right? And we can't really move ahead. All right. With that being said, I think that's everything that I want to explain up front, or that is to be explained up front. I will light the U-shaped return to sender candle in the ceremony. I'm going to wait with that. First, we're going to smudge, call in the divine team, and then I'll light that candle. And it is interesting to also be burning the candle at both ends here, literally, in a way. Yeah, interesting. When we're... Okay, thank you. So I will talk about this a little more. I know I mentioned stuff in some of the previous videos, but basically what I have noticed, like I've noticed a pattern over the last few years. It has, you know, become increasingly clear that whenever we don't stand in our power, we generally don't speak up for ourselves in a situation where we're either being wronged or our boundaries are crossed, and maybe we didn't even set proper boundaries, or someone just simply didn't respect them, right? So in all those situations, when we don't speak up for ourselves, when we don't speak our truth, energy flows out of us, out of those emotional wounds that get triggered, that get reopened basically, and our life force flows out, right? Which we're replenishing with this. But that's when we really feel like we're burning the candle at both ends, because our energy is literally being drained towards the person that overstepped our boundaries or that wronged us. So whoever did those things, and it might not have been their intention, it might have simply been their own toxic upbringing that made them say or do things in a certain way without realizing that it could actually harm someone. So regardless of the intention, when we get triggered and we're not in our power, the energy flows out of us, or part of our life force, our chi, flows out of us and towards that other person. And when we take our power back, our energy comes back to us, right? So that's like when we're not in our power, it feels like we're burning the candle at both ends, because in a sense, we're spending our power not just for ourselves, but also for that other person who receives our energy, right? So we're going to do this, but in the meantime, it is also important that we continue working on healing our inner child, learning to love ourselves more and unconditionally, exactly for who we are, as we are, with all the imperfections and everything, right? So this might be a longer process depending on how much trauma we experienced, but whenever we need to do damage control, we'll come back to one of these ceremonies where we send the energies back, where we pull the toxins out, the toxic energies, and we do some of the healing and rejuvenation and so on, right? So that's why also you've probably noticed some of my energies, some of my ceremonies. I don't know why I said energies. Well, the focus of our energies, right, is sometimes more on healing the inner child, sometimes more on what we want to bring into our lives, and sometimes it's more protecting ourselves, right? So it's like sometimes we have to kind of go back and forth between all of those until we find that balance, right? Anyhow, enough being said. And I'm only keeping the caulk here, or the caulking, just to remind me to do a seal before closing the ceremony today. And if I do forget it, I will do it at the end or afterwards anyway. But you can also do it independently for yourselves towards the end of the ceremony. Okay? With that being said, let's smudge. I kind of just refilled it a little much, maybe, but that's good. Please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies and take away anything dark, low vibrational, and unhealed, and transmute it into pure divine essence and return it to the universe for reintegration. And help us fully and completely reconnect to our own inner divinity, as well as that all around us, and through that help us be in oneness with all of creation. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. All right. Dear divine higher power of the universe, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, our ancestors that are in the light, dear Mother Earth, powers of all four directions, powers of the east, powers of the south, powers of the west, powers of the north, powers of all four elements, air, earth, fire, and water, and all other benevolent powers, forces, spirits, and beings of the universe that are of the light, please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. And it seems that we need all the help that we can get for today's ceremony, because before I knew it, the long calling in of all the divine team came out, which of course is usually implied and included, but I feel like they're going to be probably more galactic light beings helping us tonight because it was back the old way. I mean, the way I used to call it. And all right, with that being said, I want to give special thanks to our divine team, to all the light beings from the universe for coming here tonight to help us with this protection and to help us pull all this toxicity out of us and replenish our life force, strengthen us and our solar plexus to get our strength back, to also speak our truth more again, and to stand strong and stand up for ourselves again. Thank you. Okay, with that being said, by lighting this return to sender candle, let all those dark toxic energies that have been coming at us from unhealed ones that felt rejected, especially, but also from others. But what just popped into my head was this latest stalker type person scenario. Let all of those toxic, dark, and unhealed energies that have been projected onto us be returned to sender, cleansed and cleared and healed as much as possible. And I feel like this also needs to be burned for that. So I'm going to actually just rip it into two parts. Oops, interesting. It ripped right there. So here's one U and here's another U for the return part, right? Let all those toxic energies be burnt away from us and our energy field, and let them be sent back to sender. Oops, I need a little more. Hold on. I want to make sure that U is fully burnt off. I think it is burning yet. I want to make sure this part gets burnt away. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a fire underneath. Okay, it's going. And this one, too. And I'm actually going to fold this just to make it easier to fit in there. Whew. Let me open the window. Okay. I don't want the entire building to smell like fire, so I'm gonna cover it. The U's are burnt off, so the rest I can snuff out. Okay, that's good. The important part was to have the return parts, the U-turn basically, burnt off. So with that being out of the way, all that toxicity shall be cleansed and cleared away from us. Look how strongly the smudge, like the sage, is burning now. Ooh, oh, that's a lot of clearing that's happening. Ooh. Ah. And what I also feel I need to do is cut the stinger right off here so that no more harm can be done. Here's the stinger off that insect face. Actually, that head also needs to be removed from the body of that insect, of that astral insect type creature. Ooh. And all that toxicity shall now be pulled out of us. Ah. Okay, 2 more pulls. Look how much that's burning. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. That needs to be burnt away and transmuted. Ugh. All right. As always, I'll flush that down the toilet after the ceremony. But let me stop or put out the smoke. It's getting a little too intense. And let any and all barriers, blockages, walls, hurdles, and other limitations that have been preventing us from moving forward, from stepping into abundance, into oneness, into our soul mission. Let all those barriers and hurdles that have caused so much delay, that have caused us to move ahead at turtle speed, let all those barriers and hurdles now and forever be broken. I feel like I'm almost being strangled. Like it's like the throat is being squished shut. So we're healing from being quieted, from being silenced, not just from this lifetime, but from previous lifetimes. There were lifetimes when we were not allowed to voice our opinions and our thoughts, where we were not allowed to have boundaries. We were not allowed to really exist in our own right. So for a lot of us, those were slavery lifetimes, or otherwise inferior positions of servitude, or let's say if we were a spouse where the other person was very much in control and controlling us, where we had no voice, no right in that relationship. And with that being said, there's more that needs to be cut and severed. First of all, actually I'm going to burn this one. So rather than burning bridges, we're burning all ties that kept us connected to those toxic lifetimes. Ooh. Hold on, there's a little bit of water here. Okay, good. That one is going to go in here. Wow, that lead is really hot now, which it wasn't after the fire, it was after this one. Wow. So that was a lot of hot smoke. And so that's what kept us tied. So it stopped us from stepping into our earth angel tasks into our soul mission. It prevented us from moving forward. But any and all of those portals and gateways that tied us to these past lifetimes and these toxic connections shall now and forever be removed. And we shall be freed from this toxicity now and forever, throughout all of time and space, throughout all lifetimes, timelines, parallel and alternate realms, realities, multi-universes, and any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Oh, give me 1 second. I need one more thing. Oh, actually, maybe two. That one too. But let any and all damage be reversed and undone to help us back into a state of pure innocence, but with the wisdom from all those lessons that we've learned. And let our energy field now be fully and completely sealed with a divine seal of protection, and let those wounds that kept reopening now be permanently closed and healed. Let them heal over perfectly, and with that, help us fully and completely step back into our power. Let our heart space be strengthened. Let our life force be rejuvenated and flow freely and fully to strengthen every part of us, so that we can have that heart-mind coherence and that we can really be in the heart space again. Wow, that's really good. Hold on, I gotta take my glasses off. It's easier to drink without them. Wow, that's really good. Okay, a little bit more. That's it. Wow, that felt super healthy, and it was also yummy. And our heart is now clear. See? It is now full of light. And we can now have that inner peace that comes from living from the heart, like living from our heart space. Whew. And lots of smudging happening here tonight. Wow, it's just going again, even though I had it covered for quite a while. It was not 100% out, and it reignited again. Whew. That means a lot of stuff is healing from that. Whew. All right, let's close that again. Okay. Oh, let us all take a deep breath in, breathing in that pure divine love light energy. And let us breathe out any of that darkness that we've been holding on to, any dark energies and emotions, any hurt, pain, suffering that we've still carried within us, that is now time to let go. And a strong exhale. And we're sending it on the way to be transmuted and returned to the universe for reintegration into source energy, into the divine energy. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Wow. Whew, that's it. Okay. All cords to those old, ancient, toxic lifetimes are now broken, burnt away. Those bridges are burned. There's no more going back to those toxic behaviors, and there's no more way for those energies to come back and reconnect to us. That's it. Done and finished. Whew. Wow. Okay, let us give massive amounts of love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings to our divine team. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Let the ceremony now be finished. Please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us strongly and massively safe, shielded, and protected at all times with a 12D shield of golden light with a divine seal of protection. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. All our relations. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for being a part of this ceremony, and for being on your own healing and ascension journey. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel further, there's a PayPal link down below. Also, this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's February the 15th, there will be the next Positive Perspective Practice Circle. It would be great to see many of you there. And you can find the information on the Alemannic Shaman Facebook page or on the Positive Perspective Support Circle group on meetup.com. I haven't changed that name yet. I have to look into how that works. But hopefully I'll see many of you on Sunday, and otherwise in the next video, or at least you'll see or hear me in the next video. We'll reconnect that way. And I'm sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. In the meantime, be well and be well protected. May truth and integrity always be with you. Bye for now.